Now broadcasting from his hidden bunker and fully stocked bar, it is the Saturday Report with Colt Sebastian Taylor.
Hello everyone and welcome once again to the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor, adventurer, entrepreneur, and amateur gambler, and welcome to the podcast this week. As you know, you can always connect with me on the various social media channels like the Twitter, the Facebook, the Instagram, the Cameo, the Counter Social, the Threads at Colt S. Taylor. And you can subscribe to the podcast version of this show at anchor.fm/Colt S. Taylor. I also update a YouTube version at youtube.com/Colt S. Taylor. And of course, you should always check out ColtSebastianTaylor.com. One of these weeks, I will actually update it. But anyways, without further ado, my friends, let's get ready for this week's Saturday Report. First up this week, my friends, a wee bit of bookkeeping. Next week, yes, next Saturday, September 23rd, there will be no episode of the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor. Why, you ask? Well, I'll be on vacation in sunny Greece, and it's a little difficult to produce a podcast overseas because I'll be on vacation drinking wine on an island in Greece. Won't tell you where, so I don't have mobs of people harassing me, but that's where I'll be. But I will return probably September 30th, unless I'm still really jet lagged, then definitely by October 7th. So anyways, you'll have to make do, but of course, follow me on the social media platforms I just mentioned before, as I'll still post updates, maybe some photos, and some news articles in this interlude between episodes of the Saturday Report. First up this week, as you may remember last week, I talked about it being the anniversary of 9/11 and waiting for a company to do something stupid to promote itself on 9/11. And wouldn't you know it, we had a winner. Ding, 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 ding. DraftKings, yes, the gambling website, had a special wager bearing the title, Never Forget. It was a parlay bet that the New York Mets, New York Yankees, and New York Jets would win their respective games on Monday, September 11th, according to a screenshot that was posted on Twitter. And it was confirmed by DraftKings spokesman, quote, bet on these New York teams to win tonight on 9/11. It read, a parlay bet, for those who aren't heavy gamblers, which I am not, I had to look this up, combines multiple wagers into a single bet. So wagering that all three of these would win on 9/11, and the title of the bet was called Never Forget. DraftKings did issue a statement saying the company respects the, quote, significance of the day. In the statement, quote, we sincerely apologize for the featured parlay that was shared briefly in commemoration of 9/11. We respect the significance of the day for our country and the families, especially for the families of those who are directly affected in that. So that was the company this week that screwed that up. Some past ones that were notable. In 2016, Walmart made a 9/11 themed Coca-Cola boxes, each resembling the World Trade Center with a "We Will Never Forget" banner waving above it, and of course, of all places, Florida. And then in 2000 and I believe 2018, 18-ish, AT&T apologized for a tweet sent by the company's Twitter account that showed a smartphone held up against the New York skyline, facing lights beaming up where the World Trade Center's towers stood. So remember, before they rebuilt it, they had that tribute in light. AT&T held up, they did an advertisement with that. Didn't work out too well. Also in 2016, a San Antonio-based Miracle Mattress promoted a Twin Tower sale, which purported to sell all mattresses for a twin price. Get it? And the commercial of the sale showed mattresses stacked side by side in two vertical columns, and they fell over. So So will there be continuing these things every year? Oh, I think so. Every year, one company has a marketing campaign that didn't get looked at quite enough all that closely, unfortunately. So this year's winner, DraftKings. Speaking of gambling, MGM, which is a major casino operator, suffered from a week-long cyber attack this week that wasn't really much in the news. I had to poke around get the information on this, but they were hit by a 5-day cyber attack, of which took out a variety of systems at their casinos, including slot machines, ATMs, elevators, guest doors, guest temperature controls, guest blinds. Anything associated with connected to the internet was completely offline for 5 days, like canceling reservations, making reservations. This was happening at a variety of MGM properties in Las Vegas. A few casinos in Atlantic City reported a lot of issues as well of not being able to get into their systems, and doors not working, elevators stopping, reservations not being canceled, slot machines going down, slot machines not printing out that little piece of paper that you cash in for chips. It was a apparent mess. And allegedly, MGM paid out $33 million in ransom to get their control back in their systems, and it doesn't seem like they have it all the way back yet. Now, reportedly, you probably thought, boy, how did they hack the casinos? Those must be some highly skilled hackers. Well, the malware that they used, very powerful. How they got into the systems, not so much. Allegedly, these hackers went to LinkedIn, found the name of an employee that works there who would probably have access to systems they want, called MGM HR and said, "Hey, my name's Joe IT guy. Oh man, I am locked out of my system. Could you please reset my password? What's the reset password? Thanks, y'all." And then they got full access to the system, upload the ransomware, and wham bam, you can't gamble. Pretty amazing stuff. Caesars also confirmed that they were hit by a cyber attack the same time MGM was. And it's a big old mess. A big old mess. Former MGM employee who left the company this year reported the company restructured roughly 75% of its IT teams in April, resulting in layoffs, and outsourced another IT team in July. So basically, to increase the profits, they gutted the IT department, and golly, wouldn't you know it, they got slammed. Go figure. Go figure. Now, they're not quite sure who did this. But they are thinking that the hackers are based in the UK and possibly also the US. And the big concern as well is that they are getting killed in reviews. And this could affect the bottom line of many of these casinos, which are just barely coming back from the whole COVID-19 thing, where, you couldn't get in buildings in large groups for a while. But, pretty amazing stuff. They apparently paid the ransom, but they don't quite have control of all the systems back yet again. It's also believed that the hackers were trying to recruit people to milk the machines. As in saying, hey, go to this machine, we'll make sure that you win everything. So, technically they aren't stealing money. Someone else is kind of winning the money, and, there's no connection, so it's very hard to prove it. Unclear of how many people they were able to do this. The name of the hacking group is called the Scattered Spider, and claiming responsibility for the hack according to the Financial Times report. So, Yeah, so if you're in a casino this week at MGM or any casino, you might want to check your credit card for weird purchases or charges a few weeks, because who's to say that your data hasn't been hacked as well. Moving along, and speaking of crime, and as a follow-up from last week I mentioned that a 5-foot-tall Brazilian man was scampering about in the area after escaping from a prison in Chester County, Pennsylvania. And as you may remember, originally he was sort of confined around Longwood Gardens, a lovely place you should definitely visit. But then he stole a milk truck and got out and was in the Phoenixville area. Then as last week progressed a bit, wouldn't you know it, he kept going north and west and was eventually about 25 minutes from where I live. It was kind of strange, to be honest with you. All the news channels were down in the area covering. It was a national story. You generally don't see people escape for 2 weeks like this anymore. And they had lots of roads closed, of which roads I traveled many times. Owen J School District was closed, which was my high school Thanksgiving Day rivals. They were closed for, I believe, 2 days. And then he apparently stole a gun and was shot at by a someone in the area. But they did eventually get him. He was tracked down. But basically because it's starting to get colder and the heat sensing cameras could pick him up a little bit better. But, he was found in a wood pile. He ran for it. A dog named Yoda apparently found him, tracked him down, caught him, and they were able to get him. They had just hundreds and hundreds of police, Border Patrol, SWAT teams, federal SWAT teams, ATF, just combing the area trying to get this guy. Now, he has said, since he's been captured, that he basically was traveling at night, staying put in the day. Whenever he pooped, he would hide the poop so the dogs couldn't track him. Very hungry, but he was drinking water out of streams, stole some fruit out of some fields, a watermelon. He ate some horse granola bars, so the granola bars are made specifically for horses, so, not super tasty, but, they were able to get him, they posed with him, and, they brought him back to jail. He was wearing an Eagles hoodie that he stole off a clothesline, which led to many different jokes about him being an Eagles fan, which he is not. He had ditched his prison shoes, stolen some boots off of a porch. But, they did eventually get him with help of K9 units, able to track him down this week. Apparently, they were within yards of him several times, and they didn't get him until this week. I have to say, for the two or 3 days where he was, oh boy, this guy's getting pretty close, I have to say, I was sure to keep my lights on at night, outdoors, out front, out back, and repositioned a few of my outdoor cameras just to keep an eye on things, because I think if he was all walk here overnight, that'd be crazy. But, if he stole something and then you could get here pretty quickly by morning, that's for sure, get here in 25 minutes. Apparently his end game was to carjack someone and then drive to Canada or Mexico, of which Canada is obviously the closer choice than to Mexico. But anyways, he is now back in jail, did murder his girlfriend and murdered someone in Brazil, so I would have to doubt he'll be getting out anytime soon, at least not released. Will he escape again? Who knows, but I'm just willing to guess he's going to be put somewhere where that is very hard to pull off. Folks, before I continue, I want to give a shout out to my friends at Bob Fisher Chevrolet, BobFisherChev.com. As you know, earlier this year, I got a lovely Chevy Bolt all-electric car. Love it. Fantastic. It's great. But anyways, as with all cars, just because it doesn't go gasoline, it doesn't need an oil change, still gotta get it serviced. Took it to Bob Fisher Chevy in Reading, Pennsylvania, 4111 Pottsville Pike, Reading, PA. And you know what? Had a delightful time there. A lovely customer lounge, very comfy chairs. Sat there for about 20 minutes while they checked it out. Top to bottom, bells and whistles, rotated the tires, gave it a thumbs up approval, saying I'm taking good care of the car. It's like going to the dentist and not having any cavities. So, if you have a Chevy, I highly recommend you check out Bob Fisher on Pottstown Pike, bobfisherchev.com for all of your service needs. And you know what? You might as well buy a car there too. They're really good there. Very nice there. I highly recommend them. Now, did I buy my car from Bob Fisher? No, I didn't. Not because I didn't want to. It just they didn't have any bolts in stock at the time. And, super popular car. I got that. I'll give them a plug from Troutman Auto, troutmansauto.com out there in, they're like along the Schuylkill River. They're, where are they? They're not Schuylkill, the Susquehanna River. They're in Lincolnville, Pennsylvania. Millersburg, Pennsylvania. That's north. Millersburg, Pennsylvania. Along the mighty Susquehanna. You should also check them out too. Very friendly there too. So very, very friendly there as well. So if you're in central Pennsylvania, you go to Troutman's Auto. If you're in Berks County, check out Bob Fisher Chevy, bobfisherchev.com. Links are in the profile below. Tell them that Colt Sebastian Taylor sent you. You won't get anything special, but it'll be funny if I hear that gets back to me at some point in the future. Next up, my friends, we go to Oregon, where they have legalized access to psilocybin, the drug, which are found in basically magic mushrooms. Mushrooms that cause you to see shapes and colors and stuff like that for improved mental health care, known as Psychoclin T. You can go there and experience it and take it take the drug. But here's the catch. You can't buy the mushrooms and take them home with you. You have to go there, buy them, and then stay there for about 6 hours until the drug wears off, basically. Where users describe vivid geometric shapes, a loss of identity, and oneness with the universe. The Epic Healing Eugene, America's first licensed psilocybin service center, opened this past June and has a wait list of 3,000 people, including those with depression, PTSD, or end-of-life dread. No referral is needed. No prescription is needed. But like I said, you can't buy it and take it home. You have to take it and stay there. According to the Oregon psilocybin service section, charged with regulating the state's industry, they received hundreds of thousands of inquiries from all over the world. So far, quote, we're hearing is that clients have had positive experiences, apparently. Psilocybin remains illegal in most states. The Food and Drug Administration in 2018 designated it as a breakthrough therapy, and this summer the FDA published draft guidance for researchers designing clinical trials for these types of drugs. Researchers believe that it changes the way the brain organizes itself, helping users adopt new attitudes and overcome mental health issues. Now, however, it's not cheap. Not cheap. Apparently, a session costs about $2,000 because you have to stay there. Someone has to sit there with you. And, of course, they have to provide the lab-tested drug to you and, all the licenses and whatnot. You can be denied access to it if the facilitator thinks you have an active psychosis, thoughts of harming anyone, or have taken lithium, which is used to treat mania in the past month, apparently. There are 10 licensed service centers. Only one's officially open yet. 4 growers and 2 testing labs and dozens of facilitators. So, like I said, monitor you to make sure you're not going overboard on this. So Oregon is the first state to legalize this. Oregon has legalized a lot of drugs. They're the first ones to legalize recreational marijuana, so they kind of take the lead in this and whatnot. Local jurisdictions are allowed to ban it if they want to, and several have, but others are not. And they expect prices to come down as more of these centers open and whatnot. According to one person who used it, quote, "It was kind of mesmerizing to watch, but it got so intense. I started to have this experience of dying and being reborn, and then I would just see large portions of my life going by in a very rapid way." This person said the session was not particularly pleasant, but that it beneficially transformed how he views painful memories and provide a sought after mystical experience. So, yeah. So, I mean, I would expect yourself to see this anytime soon, but science has proven that these type of drugs from these mushrooms can help people with mental health crisis, and they're trying them out, trying to figure out how to appropriately use them. So, I mean, like not anytime soon, but I wouldn't be surprised, much like how recreational marijuana, medical marijuana has been proven to relieve a variety of different symptoms, that mushrooms of these nature may be used and prescribed by a doctor much sooner than you may think. Next up, my friends, we go to Greenland, the world's biggest island. It's a true trivia fact. Be sure to check it out. Where a luxury cruise ship ran aground in Greenland and was stuck there for 4 days. Fortunately, did not hit a rock, but got stuck in mud and sand. But they were unable to unstuck themselves and were stuck there for 4 days until they were pulled free from the East Greenland fjord by a fisheries research vessel, according to the ship owner said in a statement. Quote, "There have not been any injuries to any person on board, no pollution in the environment, and no breach of the hull." The name of the ship was called the Ocean Explorer, and it ran aground this past Monday with 206 crew and passengers on board. The Joint Arctic Command Commander Brian Jensen said that the Dutch Navy believes the ship was stuck in mud and sand. Quote, "Luckily, it's not a rock, or that could have caused some great danger to the ship. It's kind of stuck, and it'll be more difficult to get free." Danish authorities attempted to tow the vessel several times before it was freed on Thursday, and a tugboat was on its way, but once it got free, it was turned around and sent back. While the ship was grounded, 3 passengers tested positive for COVID-19. The patients were isolated and doing well, according to the company. In the Sydney Morning Herald, Australian passenger Gina Hill and Stephen Fraser said they were among the passengers that were stranded on the ship. Fraser told the Herald that he was one of the passengers with COVID, and that there was a doctor on the ship checking in on them. Quote, "It's a bit frustrating, but we are in a beautiful part of the world. We're sitting right near the glacier when we open our window." The Ocean Explorer will be taking everyone to port, and then the ship's bottom will be checked for damages, assessed to see if it needs to be repaired, and the vessel's passengers will be taken to a port from which they can be flown back home. So, fortunately, no one got hurt, no one damaged, but you don't usually see a ship get stuck in Greenland every day. That is a heck of a place to get stuck off the coast of Greenland. Next, my friends, we go to the world of marketing. Johnson & Johnson, you know Johnson & Johnson, make a whole bunch of different pharmaceutical and medical devices. They're changing their logo. Yes, that's right. After 130 years, Johnson & Johnson has that signature type logo. They're going to use just some regular old letters, modern letters, for its new logo of Johnson & Johnson, which their brand logo is just the name Johnson, ampersand Johnson. And they want to do that to show that they're, more modern, because their logo has been around for 130 years. It's based off of co-founder James Wood Johnson's signature, and you'll still see it for a bit on a bunch of different things. But they decided to change. They decided to change their brand logo to Johnson & Johnson with letters. Now, the script will be seen on consumer products from Kenvue. It's a new company that recently spun off from J&J, Johnson & Johnson. So Johnson & Johnson can focus more on pharmaceuticals and medical devices. It narrowed itself to these two areas, and now since they're focusing, they want a new look, which includes a different shade of red, aims to recognize J&J's shift into a pure play healthcare company, according to the company's executive vice president, Vanessa Broadhurst, and whatnot. The signature logo was one of the longest used company emblems in the world, according to a post from 2017. But it started to show its age, apparently, in the era of texting and emojis. Many children no longer write cursive in school, and the cursive may be hard to recognize what it actually says. People don't write. I mean, I learned cursive in school, but many children don't anymore. A lot of them just do print writing and learn how to type, which I can do that too. But yeah, so it'll be easier for folks to process now. Quote, because it's easier, it almost draws your attention to it. According to a branding expert and whatnot. But anyways, Kenvue, which is this new company, said that the J&J branding on products like Band-Aids will gradually be removed and replaced with their new logo. The signature logo could also be found in the company's now discontinued talcum-based baby powder, which has generated lawsuits that says it has caused cancer, of which Johnson & Johnson says it does not. The consumer business apparently helped J&J become the world's biggest healthcare products maker with an annual sales of $90 billion, but its pharmaceutical and medical device divisions had easily surpassed in its size and was spinned off, was announced in 2021. They are based in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and their Janssen pharmaceutical business will be renamed Johnson & Johnson Innovative Medicine, and its medical devices will be known as Johnson & Johnson MedTech. So, anyways, you're about to see new Johnson & Johnson logos soon, and a lot of their Band-Aids and shampoo stuff will now have a new logo from Kenvue, which is a spun-off company that will handle all of those things. Moving along from the healthcare industry to the entertainment industry, as you know, writers and actors are on strike right now, striking Hollywood studios, wanting more money for their work, which I agree that they should. They're very talented, and Hollywood execs are extremely greedy. Well, as you know, not only are they striking, but a lot of people who are unions don't have a whole lot of money, and so there's charity auctions to help raise money to support the strike that is going on. And this is some pretty clever things. All these are on eBay, and you can bid on a variety of different things. And some of the things that caught my eye is currently it's at $5,100. You can have a virtual story basic session with Spike Jonze and Lena Dunham. Amazing. You could do the crossword puzzle with comedian Natasha Lyon, who's very funny. For $1,200, you can have a virtual hangout with a cast of Bones, including Emily Deschanel, Tamara, Michaela, and David Bordez. For $4,250, you have John Lithgow. Make a watercolor portrait of your dog. Pretty amazing. I like this one. $10,000. You can have dinner with Bob Oberkirk and David Cross, amazing comedians, either in New York or L.A. Of course, background check. For $5,100, Lena Dunham will come and paint a mural in your home. That's pretty amazing. In New York, you can take a pottery class with Busy Phillips. Pretty great. Pretty great. And I'm just scrolling down here. For $2,000, you can do 20 questions, 20 minutes with Sarah Silverman. That could be longer. I think that's a little short, personally. For $830, Rosemary DeWitt and Ron Livingston will give you relationship advice over Zoom. That's pretty good. In LA, for $2,500, Adam Scott will walk your dog for an hour. That's funny. I like that. $4,100. A fedora owned and signed by the legendary Tom Waits. That, I wish I was a lottery winner so I could get my hands on that. That sounds pretty amazing. And then there's a collection of signed memorabilia. For example, Parker Posey's personal collection of Dazed and Confused and Party Girl memorabilia. That's pretty interesting. Original prop Harvard chair as seen in the hit series The Dropout. Signed DVDs by director Ryan Johnson. A collection of autographed celebrity children's books. That's interesting. Harley Quinn, a very problematic Valentine's Day poster signed by Kaylee Cuoco, who voices one of the characters in there. I wish I could get my hands on this one. Weird Hawaiian shirt worn in the Weird Al movie, worn by Daniel Radcliffe, signed by Daniel Radcliffe and by Weird Al. Willow, stop scratching while I'm recording my podcast. You're so loud. I'm not starting over. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure Script signed by cast and screenwriters. That sounds like fun. Stranger Things 4 poster signed by the Duffer Brothers. That's pretty great. Let's see here. Oh, The Lost Boys screenplay signed by Kiefer Sutherland, Jason Patrick, and Alex Winter. That's pretty cool. And Donald Glover signed Atlanta script with a personal note. That's pretty neat too. Oh, a Hulk Funko Pop signed by Mark Ruffalo, who played the Hulk, obviously, in the Avengers. So, anyways, lots of neat stuff here. If you like to collect things, some of my favorites, obviously, is having dinner or the fedora. If I won the lottery 2 weeks ago, I would definitely be bidding on those because that sounds like a great time. Even the Wirecolor by John Lithgow, I think I'd probably get that too. Other ones, I'm not super interested in at all, really. But anyways, check that out. If you have some disposable income, you might get something pretty neat from some celebrities and help support their strike. Moving along, as you may remember from a few weeks ago, a museum in Cleveland, I think, was asked to return a variety of things that were stolen from another country. Well, this week, 33 artifacts were returned to Cambodia after the agreement by a late billionaire's family found out that these things were stolen and agreed to return them back to Cambodia. The family of the late George Linderman, a billionaire businessman who was the CEO of a natural gas pipeline company, Southern Union, voluntarily agreed to return the artifacts to Cambodia on Monday, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. He died in 2018. Cambodian officials plan to host a ceremony celebrating the return of cultural relics. Quote, for decades, Cambodia suffered at the hands of unscrupulous art dealers and looters who trafficked cultural treasures to the America art market, according to Damian Williams, the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, in a statement. The historic agreement will set the framework of returning items of cultural significance back to the Cambodia under the U.S.-Cambodia Cultural Property Agreement, first signed in 2003 and renewed in late August of this year. According to Thoyern Sakhona, Cambodia's Minister of Cultural and Fine Arts, quote, it pleases the Cambodian government that the Lindemann family, in possession of these national treasures, knowing they were wrongly possessed, have duly and voluntarily returned them to the rightful owners. The Lindemann family said in a statement to the Times that, quote, having purchased these items from dealers that we assumed were rentable, we are saddened to learn how they made their way to the market in the United States. The collection apparently includes 10th and 12th century statues and artwork stolen from Angkor Wat and Koh Ker, which are major religious and archaeological sites in Cambodia. One statue depicts Dirshtar Yuma, the hero from the Sanskrit epic Mahabharata, was stolen from the Khmer's kingdom ancient capital of Prasat Chen. Other antiques include a 10th century sculpture of a deity who is half man and half female, a kneeling figure taken from Bethany Sea, an ancient temple in Cambodia, and 6 heads of divas and asurs, or angels and demons, that line the gates of the city of Angkor Thom. Boy, I think I'm laying these names pretty good. Anyways, these items are being sent back. Lindemann was known to be a collector of artifacts. He was featured in a 2008 article with luxury magazine Architectural Design. Photos showed more than a dozen Khmer statues displayed in his Florida mansion. Art experts and archaeologists working with the Cambodian Ministry of Culture told the Post in 2021 that 6 of those artworks were, quote, definitely looted. Prosecutors said Latchford was a key middleman in transactions between temple looters and wealthy collectors. U.S. officials said the recent agreement with the Lindemann does not indicate that the family violated any federal laws. They obviously took these things, but they assumed they were legally got in the first place. So they did the right thing and returned those cultural artifacts back to the people of Cambodia. Finally this week, if you're a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan of the series, not the total creep Josh Whedon, who created it and did wonderful things with the Avengers, and then everyone realized he was a big old creep. Anyways, there's a new story in the Buffyverse starring Buffy the Vampire Slayer actors. When I say starring, it's a new series on Audible, debuting October 12th, called Slayers, a Buffyverse story. Picks up 10 years after the show's series finale and focuses on Spike, voiced by James Marsters, who's gone undercover in Los Angeles to battle big bads. In the story, Spike must pretend he's back to his nasty vampire ways in order to thwart the forces of evil, but when his cover is compromised by 16-year-old Adira Nunley, voiced by Layla D. Leon Hayes, he's forced to babysit a young teen slayer again. It's written by original cast member Amber Benson, who played Tara, and Christopher Golden, who I believe, if my memory serves me correct, did he play someone? I don't think he played someone. No, I think he's a writer. Yeah, he's a writer. Anyways, but Amber Benson definitely played Tara in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's a parallel universe where Buffy Summers, played by Sarah Michelle Gellar, never existed, and Cordelia, who used to be played by Charisma Carpenter, is the veteran slayer there and doing battle with Spike's unhinged ex, Drusilla, played by Juliet Landau, who's also back. According to a press release, Marster said, quote, I'm ecstatic to be back with my dear friends for this next chapter in the Buffyverse as we take listeners on a familiar but unexpected journey chock full of horror, passion, and mischief. I'm excited for old and new fans to experience this beloved world of vampire slaying like never before, brought to life through immersive audio storytelling. Slayers stars original cast members Amber Benson as Tara, Emma Clodfield Ford as Anya, James Charles Leary as Clem, Danny Strong as Jonathan, Anthony Head, also back as Rupert Giles. You'll know him as the villainous Rupert Mannion on Ted Lasso. Very talented Anthony Head, amazing talent, good singer too. But anyways, check that out on Audible. I probably will. Slayers, a Buffyverse story, new series debuting October 12th on Audible. Definitely check it out. It's good stuff. I have a lot of faith in those folks to do it. They wouldn't do this unless they did a good job at it, so I think it'll be pretty good. My friends, before I go, let me tell you about Social Bee. They're a social media management tool that enables posting across all of your profiles: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, Google My Business, and TikTok. They have wonderful integrations, allows you to design posts to be perfect, like Canva, Unsplash, Giftly, which I use often. You can structure your content in categories to obtain solid and a balanced mix. Connect an RSS feed of any blog to import content automatically. Customize posts for each social media network individually, or post to all of them at the same time. Automatically generate hashtags based on images or the caption, which I do all the time. Recycle evergreen posts. Set up posting schedules for all of your profiles. Have workspaces and collaborate with people. I don't, because I'm a one-man team, but that is possible. And you can analyze the performance of your accounts. And finally, they have 5 integrated link shorteners, which you can then track your links and their performance on your own end. So check it out. 14 days for free. Don't even need a credit card. Check it out. Try them out. Kick the tires. I think you'll like it. I like it. They're always adding new stuff to it. And when you talk to them, tell them that Colt Sebastian Taylor sent you. You won't get anything, but it'll be funny if that gets back to me. Let's get back to me. Well, my friends, that just about wraps up this week's Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor. As a reminder, I will not be here next week. I will be 7 hours into the future, vacationing in sunny Greece. But I will be back the following week, which is, I believe, September 30th, unless I'm still jet-lagged, of which then you'll have to wait 2 more weeks. But I should be back in 2 weeks, let you know what my vacation is, and cover the news for you. But, of course, follow me on the Twitter, the Threads, the Counter Social, the Instagram, and the Facebook at Colt S. Taylor. And be sure to share this podcast at anchor.fm/Colt S. Taylor to all of your friends, so I can continue to do this wonderful news programming for you. Until next time, my fantastic friends, I am, of course, your friend, Colt Sebastian Taylor, and I'll see you later.